Hello everyone, thank you for joining me, Amber, on my channel, Guidance Through Gaia, where I do tarot pick-a-card readings. If this is your first time, welcome, and I hope that you're able to find something here that is useful for you. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for joining me once again. I just got back from vacation in Norway, and so I am like super refreshed, not just because I got out of the States, but also because I walked more, got some fresh air. Can't say that I got a lot more sun because it was pretty cloudy, but still, I am back with a vengeance. And so today what we are going to be looking at is the question, have you met your next partner yet? And we have 3 piles as per usual. We've got pile number 1 signified by this sticker with a mountain, a moon, and a wave. We have pile number 2 with these mountains. And, and then pile number 3, the croc. So whoever feels drawn to the croc, I'm interested to see how your reading goes. But we are going to use tarot to get the answer. And I'm just going to have fun with some oracle cards for advice, some charms, and some astro dice to get some more information. So I'll see you in your pile. All right, group number 1, you chose this sticker with the wave and the mountain and the moon. So let's get into your reading about if you have met your future partner yet. Now, this could be a long-term partner that we're asking about. It could be a short-term partner. This is intended to be a romantic reading. However, if you're not into that kind of thing, then this could talk about like a business partner or a new kind of friendship developing. When we have general readings such as this, there is so much information and it can apply to so many different people in a variety of ways. So frame it in the context that really you're inquiring about. All right? Now, yes or no questions are not always the easiest to get answers for, but we're going to do our best. So has group 1 met their future partner, their next partner yet? Have they met their next partner? Oh, we've got the Page of Mirrors, which in this deck is called the Healer. So this is the Chrysalis Tarot, and this is a deck that I really need to go through because they have titles for the major arcana like this, and the oh my gosh, the court cards. And so there are some very specific meanings to them. I have not learned most of them. But let's see. Has group number 1 met their future partner yet? I hate when cards come out sideways. But I kind of have this general rule for myself when it's like going clockwise, whatever the next placement would be is where it was supposed to go. All right, has group number 1 met their next partner? And then I feel like we want one more. So what's the bottom energy? The bottom deck energy is the Nine of Scrolls in reverse with the Lovers. Now the Nine of Scrolls in this deck is the Nine of Swords. Crap, right? I think scrolls are swords. Yeah, because spirals are fire. The wands. So what I'm going to say, group number 1, is no. I don't believe you have met your future partner yet. And that is because we have 2 cards here. The Ten of Stones, which is the Ten of Pentacles. That's in reverse. And then Justice in reverse. And those are all about like foundations. Then the Nine of Stones is typically considered like an independent card. Nines often represent the self and the experience that we are having within the self. And however, what I do feel the universe is saying is that because of how open you are ready to receive that partnership, I think it is going to occur pretty quickly here. I think it is approaching relatively quickly. And I think that your willingness to receive love, but also your willingness to continue on with your life, still living it, still being an independent individual who is allowing yourself to continue your journey. I really think that this is going to be a connection that just kind of, it probably surprises you. If you're on something like a dating app or you're doing like speed dating, then I see something like that working out for you, but I know that's not necessarily your main priority. You're not like hyper focused on it. You're just kind of like, hey, I'm going to have this experience on the side, and if anything comes of it, that's great. And if you're not actively engaging in something like that, then I think that whatever partnership this is going to occur just as you're being yourself, experiencing your authentic path and living life. So we're just going to get some cards here. See what messages the universe wants to deliver to us through the use of oracle cards. Okay. The universe totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices about what I think. I choose balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. Every thought I think is creating my future. And it's funny because it's like these arrows seem like they're pointing to the healer. And the healer in this instance does look very serene. She's kneeling at a bee's nest, surrounded by bees, and yet she's not being stung. And so I feel that you do have this confidence and this energy of like, I know someone's coming. I know that I am meant to have partnership in my life, and I know that it will come in the time that it is meant to. And that is really beautiful, group number 1. Like, I wish I was feeling that way right now. You seem like somebody who's very calm and confident in yourself, and that you trust that things will turn out the way that they're meant to. And that it's all just in time, And if you're not feeling that way, if you're listening to this and you're like, Amber, that is a load of shit, then I would say this is probably just the universe encouraging you. Like, hey, This is kind of the mentality you need to have. This is where we need to be at, because this is going to be what really allows us to draw in and accept a very healthy and stable connection. Okay? So we have another message from the universe. Okay, so this one says, find your sacred flow, but it's in reverse, and then bravely market your magic. And it's number 12 and 39. With these cards being in reverse, what I feel is that you may feel like there is something you're curious about, or something that you feel is kind of like missing in your life. Not necessarily relationship-wise, but maybe you are somebody who likes to learn new things, and you're like, wow, so I really want to take on a new project, but I don't know where to go. Or maybe you are, you have your own business, or you are kind of exploring your aesthetic style, and you may not feel entirely confident about those things, but the universe is encouraging you to put yourself out there. As you are exploring, as you are experimenting, really embrace what it is that you're doing, because I have a feeling that's going to draw in this partnership as well. I have some Harry Potter related tarot cards. They're like oracle cards. And I'm just going to say, we do not support J.K. Rowling on this channel. She needs some help. And unfortunately, she has become somebody who is the antithesis of what I feel the message of her story was about. But I just kind of felt called. I haven't used these in a while, and I felt called to utilize them. So what message do we have for group 1? And these cards, okay, fine. Guess I didn't want to. Okay, so we talk about resistance here. That's what this card talks about. It says, Dobby has no master. Dobby is a free elf, and Dobby has come to save Harry Potter and his friends. Dobby, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. Dobby is a house elf in service to the Malfoy family. Despite the horrible consequences, Dobby leaves Malfoy Manor multiple times throughout Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets to warn Harry against danger at Hogwarts. Later in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, Dobby once again risks it all to help Harry, returning to the home of his former masters and ultimately giving his life to save his friends. Dobby is kind and brave, a true hero who resists the traditional enslavement of his species and fights for his freedom and his friends. What can you do today to honor the spirit of Dobby? What that sounds like to me is a couple of messages. One being that you always have a choice. Like, you always have the power to say yes or no. I firmly believe that while we can be energetically drawn to certain people or to certain outcomes, we can always make decisions that separate us from those people or those outcomes, just as much as somebody else can make those decisions as well. And I think that you are a person who is extremely independent, and that's going to be something that really draws this person in. It could be used, like we talked about earlier, having your own business. It could be exploring a different aesthetic style, which may not be popular or common in your area. It could be joining in with a cause that you believe in, whether it's, you're raising money for education, or you are fostering animals, or you are protesting for people's rights, or you are getting involved in a soup kitchen, you know, whatever. You seem like somebody who does want to stand up for what is right and help in the community in some way. And I think that is going to be an attractive quality in you. And then we're going to get one final message with an oracle card here. This is fairies. Oh. Excuse me. So we have number 8 with Elven Touch, Recovery, Comeback, and Revival. So a couple of things here. 8 reminds me of the Strength card in Tarot. And the Strength card refers to Leo, which is a fire energy. And here we have an ice energy. So this connection may seem the opposite at first of what you had expected. Let's see, recovery, comeback, revival. You and or this person may have not been involved with someone else for a while. I mean, especially if this is like a romantic or sexual connection, or even a business partnership. If it's like a friendship, you know, this could talk about like being new to an area and not having made a strong group of friends, or even just kind of having been isolated for a while. But this to me is talking about like coming back into harmony and making connections from a place of being a healthier, more stable person and having overcome challenges. I do want to see if there's anything in this card's description. It says, there are some who walk among us who have healing capabilities. In the fairy forest, this is known as having the elven touch. When this card comes to you, you are being offered the assistance of this elven touch, a healing touch of energy that transforms to you some of the gift of immense good health, which aids immediately in your recovery. This transferal of magical energy from the elves offers you a spark of vitality, that luminous quality that helps us to awaken each day refreshed and ready, with renewed enthusiasm, vigor, and optimism. The elven ones are now stilling themselves and gathering their energy to send to you when you are ready to receive. To allow this energy to work its healing within your cells, simply find a quiet place to be sometime today. Cast whatever doubts your human mind brings forth aside for a time and visualize a silver stream of pure energy entering your crown. Being touched by elves has always been known to be powerful. They can heal and they can harm, and for you, this transfer of energy brings forth great healing and a relief from physical pain. Seek healing treatments that involve touch. So for those of you who may resonate with this, this could also talk about meeting someone as you are healing from an injury or a sickness, or maybe they have an injury or sickness. Especially if it's something that's chronic, which is not necessarily something that you heal from, but more so you learn how to adapt to. And this could also talk about just really, I think, strongly connecting, you know, somebody who comes into your life, and even if they're different than the kind of person that you had expected, you're just able to click really well with them. And it's such a harmonious relationship that it's very soothing, I think, because you might have been somebody, or they might have been somebody who has been in very difficult relationships before, with friends, with family, with lovers, with tutors. And so this, I think, could be like a breath of fresh air. Now, sorry, I had to grab my notes on something, because I was just playing around with my Astro Dice yesterday, and I thought, like, oh, let's try to use these in a different way. So what I want to do is I kind of want to see, the circumstances. We'll say the circumstances that surround the meeting of your future partner. Now, of course, with this being a general reading, this is not going to resonate with everybody, but it's just kind of a little fun way to, I think, for me to learn better about astrology in general. Oopsies. So we've got the first house with Gemini and Jupiter. Okay, so the first house. First house is all about the self, how you present yourself, how you express yourself, your ideas. And so this to me really reinforces the idea of you meet them when you're kind of in your own world. You know, when you're not really thinking about who your partner is, how you can find them. Even if you are engaging actively in the dating scene, you know, I don't think your attention is so intimately focused on it. You know, it's just kind of something that you're like, I'm just testing this out and whatever happens, happens. The Jupiter is about expansion, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and so that can deal with travel. That can also deal with like business, or just, you know, learning. And so there's something about you or them, but I'm guessing it's you, where you are really expanding something in your life. You're learning a new skill, you're growing a business, or you are exploring different locations. And Gemini's a funny kind of energy to have, just because a lot of people become very anxious about Geminis. Geminis are known for their duality, you know, they're the twins. And so they can often represent having like the two different sides to them, the good side and the bad side. Ooh, but when I think of Gemini in this circumstance, I do think of someone who is mirroring you. Someone that feels like a kindred soul, and someone who's like the other half of you. You know, maybe if you are exploring a new hobby, they might be somebody who's interested in it too. Maybe there's somebody that you end up meeting because you have questions or you want to learn more about how to excel in this, and they might have more knowledge about it than you do. Maybe you both travel to the same place and meet each other as foreigners. Maybe you have a business and they are reaching out to you to become like a business partner, or trying to become a customer of yours. And I think that's so beautiful. This really is like, it all boils down to you, essentially. Like, just be yourself, live your life, and the two of you will intersect. So now I'm going to get some charms and paper. So we have compass, bear, a fairy, heart with a flower inside of it, a money bag, and the cat. So I do feel that this talks about meeting at a time during potentially travel, especially to a forested area. Like if you like to go hiking or camping, or if you like to go to locations where there is a lot of greenery and a lot of trees. I'll tell you right now, the fairy makes me think of like the UK. Then the fairy and the heart with the rose in it make me think of fairy tales. So for some people, it might be like cosplay or like a Ren fair. Maybe like a writing group or through some kind of like graphic design or like visual art. And then of course we have the money here, the money bag. Money, we can talk about things like traveling, you know, that does become expensive. It can talk about making money, spending money. Even if like we're talking about Ren Fair cosplay, that costs money, or an exchange of money because one of you is a customer, the other one is a business owner, whatnot. So I'm really excited to see that because it does feel as if this is going to, like, this does confirm to me some of the possible ways in which you could meet. Yeah. And I mean, even with this image right here, this makes me think of Mount Fujiyama, you know, so Japan could definitely be someplace that is important or relevant to some of you. And then just this wave, someplace by the ocean, by a significant body of water. So group number 1, I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, let me know how in the description box down below. I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it if you want to, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would love to have another member of our family join. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, group number 2, you chose the mountains. And so here we are going to answer if you have met your next partner. So like I told group number 1, this is intended to be like a romantic or sexual reading, but I mean, it's not limited to that. And so if you're looking for some like insight as to if you've found another like friendship, or if you found like a potential business partner, you know, this reading can also apply to you. It's just, you have to, I'll try to put it into different contexts, but also don't be afraid to frame it from the position that you're coming from. Okay. It was really, really fun. And so now we're going to see what comes up for group 2. So group 2, have they met their next partner yet? Have they met their next partner? Okay, we have the Chariot in reverse, which is also called in this deck Hearn of the Hunter. And then the 9 of Stones in reverse. Okay, has group 2 met their next partner yet? The 7 of Spirals, which is also the 7 of Wands. The 3 of Scrolls in reverse, which is the 3 of Swords in reverse, with the Page of Scrolls in reverse. Ooh. We've got the 4 of Spirals and upright, and the 4 of Scrolls in reverse. Group number 2, have you met your partner yet? Your future partner? So let's take it. This one's kind of interesting. So let's take a look at it card by card. So the Chariot is often seen as a movement card. You know, it's taking the reins and going in the direction that you've chosen. In reverse, it can talk about not having a sense of direction, or just kind of going in the direction that someone else has chosen for you, or even not just not moving. The Nine of Stones in reverse can talk about feeling insecure and not having a sense of stability on your own. The Seven of Spirals in reverse can talk about removing any defenses that you have, being open and unguarded. The Three of Scrolls in reverse talks about healing from heartbreak or trauma. And then the Pilgrim in reverse, who is also the Page of Scrolls in reverse, is somebody who hasn't conceptualized what it is that they want, what path that they're looking for. They can be kind of stubborn, and they may not be ready to make the journey. So it's funny because by all accounts, like, just looking logically at these cards, I would be pressed to say, like, no, you haven't met them. But I'm gonna say this. I think some of you have crossed paths with them. You know, I keep with this Chariot in reverse card. This makes me think of being on the road and passing somebody that, like, you do have some kind of connection with. Somebody that does become, like, important to you, but not noticing them, not being aware of that connection. With the Pilgrim being in reverse, that makes me think of, okay, so first of all, a pilgrimage is movement. So to be in reverse means, like, not moving. But with this representing the swords, and swords often representing communication as well, this makes me think of somebody that you haven't communicated with. So I feel like this is a two-parter. I feel like for some of you, you have crossed paths with them. It could be even online. Like, if you're a part of, like, I don't know, let's say you're part of a Reddit forum, and there could be somebody on Reddit that, like, you were talking on the same screen, like on the same topic, but, like, you didn't communicate with each other. This could also just talk about physically being around this person, but not communicating with them, not recognizing them, not knowing them or engaging with them. And then for others, this definitely is a no, like, you haven't met them yet. So we're gonna get some oracle cards here, and I haven't really established the intention of these oracle cards, how they're being used in this reading. I just kind of wanted to leave it open-ended. And so for the last pile, it was like a little bit of advice and then kind of a little bit of I don't remember what the word, foresight? I don't know. Okay, so group number 2. Wow. Life mirrors my every thought. As I keep my thoughts positive, life brings to me only good experiences. As I say yes to life, life says yes to me. Yes. And it's funny because the first pile did as well have a card that referenced positive thinking. And so, especially with the kinds of cards that we do have here, particularly with the Nine of Stones in reverse and the Page of Scrolls in reverse. Wait a minute. Am I being dumb? No, I'm not being dumb. Thank God I'm not being dumb. Okay. I kept thinking like, because this is such a different deck and they use all these different terms, sometimes I get mixed up where I'm like, oh my God, are scrolls actually the like, wands? But no, it's not. Spirals are the wands. Thank y'all. But yeah, I definitely feel like the universe is indicating that you may be experiencing some negative thinking surrounding the possibility of creating or finding this connection, regardless of what type it is. But the universe is just saying, like, try to correct that mentality. Try to begin to look at things positively and accept that, yes, like, you will meet somebody and that you can develop a very strong connection with. Okay? So what else do you want to tell us? Group 2 and their future partner. Okay, so this is in reverse. It's card number 54, and it says, fall in love with your own story. Okay, and it's in the reverse, which can talk about, it's similar to being in reverse with tarot. It's about feeling stuck, having challenges. You may not have a high opinion of yourself at times. You may feel insecure, which is interesting that this is underneath the Nine of Stones in reverse as well, because I think of the Nine of Stones as like a material confidence, but at the end of the day, like, Earth is the very essence of our foundation, you know? So that can refer to how we feel about ourselves in general at the very core of our being. And so you may feel as if you aren't interesting enough, you know, or aren't qualified enough for whatever it kind of is that you're looking for. You know, you may feel like if you're looking for a romantic or sexual partner that maybe you aren't as attractive as other people, or that you haven't been as successful as other people, or that you don't make as much money as other people, or, you know, have these quote unquote redeeming qualities that are desirable, that would make you a good candidate. You know, if this is something about like a business or a friendship, you just kind of may feel like you don't have the skills to succeed. But I would argue that that is largely insecurity, and that skills can always be developed, you know? It is hard making friends. As an adult especially, it is so hard. And sometimes our friend-making skills do suck, but they can always be improved upon, you know? Same with, like, expanding our career. You know, it's a trial and error process. And I'll tell you this, okay, for those of you who are worried about, like, oh, I'm not good enough for blah, 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 blah. Especially as it pertains to, like, romantic relationships or even friendships, you know. I remember when I was dating this one guy, and he could do everything. Like, he had a really good paying job. He cooked really well. He was great at, like, decorating his place. I mean, it was a small place, but it looked really nice and it was very clean and stuff. And I'm like, what skills do I have for you? Like, what can I bring to the table? And he made the comment, like, Amber, I'm not looking for somebody who has skills. I'm just looking for somebody that I can share my life with, you know, and, like, who's going to love me. And so that was something that I really had to grapple with, and that I still kind of do. Now we're going to be using a Harry Potter Oracle deck, but I'm going to preface this by saying I do not, and we do not support J.K. Rowling. I hope someday that she can see how harmful and disappointing her views currently are, and that she changes. But unless that happens, no. But still, I haven't used this deck for a while, and I just really felt called to. So let's see. What do you have to tell us about group 2 and their future partner? Come on, universe. I'm like sweating up a storm here, okay? Thank y'all. Okay, so this is interesting because the last pile also got a card about resistance. Now, there are several different categories that exist within this deck, so we'll see. Oh, okay. The Daily Prophet is the most popular wizarding publication in Britain, the source most wizards and witches turn to for their daily news. This made it easy for the Ministry of Magic to use the paper to control the narrative regarding Lord Voldemort's return in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It is an important reminder to be careful not to take the media we consume at face value. Today, try spending some time with a publication website or other news source that you don't normally read. It may help you see things from a different point of view. That is so true on so many different levels, whether it's like political, social, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you are consuming material at this point that just is perpetuating or creating a narrative within you that isn't really helpful right now. For instance, like there was a period of time where I had to kind of change what I was watching, not because anything I was watching was bad, but I was watching a lot of shows where it was like this destined love, you know, like two people who were just meant to be together. And I really had to step back from that because I was starting to get upset that I didn't have anybody in my life, you know, and was feeling like, oh my God, I'm never going to find anybody. Or maybe you're listening to a lot of tarot readings about love. You know, it might be time to step back from that. Maybe you've noticed that you are focusing a lot on like physical appearance in the media that you consume, whether it's magazines or like YouTube, movies, books, and you might be comparing yourself against that. Or even if it's like about careers and stuff. And so it might be time to take a step back, switch genres, switch mediums of content. You know, like maybe if you're watching a lot of visual content like TV, YouTube, whatnot, maybe it's time that you switch to something that requires you to like, oh, I don't know, like listen to it, like podcasts, or maybe like read. If you are listening, okay, let's take a podcast, for example. If you're listening to like romance podcasts or whatnot, or podcasts about like how to be successful or what successful people look like, maybe you need to take a step back from that. Maybe look into like true crime or history or mathematics or linguistics or, you know, other topics that interest you, you know, so that you can kind of give your mind a release from all that, give it room to breathe so that it doesn't become at risk of maintaining like an obsession regarding that area of your life and where you may or may not measure up. Okay. Let's see. And now we're going to pull a card. Hopefully just one. You never know. From this fairy deck, which I thought, you know, it's very pretty. I don't think I've used it before because wow, it did get me too. Getting old. Okay, so we have 17 with Isa, stillness, pause, and delicacy, and then 35 with the life bringer, establishment, growth, and fulfillment. It's interesting. Both of these cards break down to the number 8, which the number 8 was, the actual number 8 of this deck was in the last pile as well. And we have like an ice kind of fairy right here, but then we also have an earth fairy that follows it. And so what this is telling me is that this stagnancy that you're experiencing is part of the plan. You know, it's part of the process. And that it's not a forever situation. There will come a time when a partnership, a friendship, a connection does blossom. Let's read both of these to see if there's anything important that kind of just pops out. But we have, with Issa, winter has descended upon the fairy forest. You have ceased struggling and fighting to change what is outside of yourself. It's kind of like the 7 of Spirals in reverse. Because you have relinquished the battle, you have won the war within yourself. You are now suspending activity and being in the moment. Through this stillness and inner consciousness, you are beginning to understand so much of where you have been and where you will go. And because you are fully in the present and allowing, you can also come to a deeper, more peaceful understanding of what it is you want, value, and desire. You know, and I think that's a really good point, because sometimes when we feel that we are just like ready for something, we might not completely understand what it is that we're ready for. And so having that stillness and that silence, for as frustrating as it can be, can really give us the opportunity to inspect what values we have, what needs we have, and what our true desires are, you know. And it's like, so if you're looking at a romantic relationship, it's not just anymore, oh my God, I want to fall in love again. It's all of a sudden, well, I want a partner who is physically active, likes to go hiking, likes to go camping, because I like to do those things. I want a partner who is open-minded and accepting of people and their differences, like the queer community, or people of different ethnic or cultural backgrounds, people with different disabilities, etc., etc. You know, realizing that like just wanting a partner isn't what you want. Like it's someone with some specific qualities that mean that they're compatible with you. This is a moment of complete stillness and simply being. A long moment where you are completely present. You are as still as a chrysalis, hanging seemingly static from a branch, fragile and mysterious. Like the chrysalis, you will do nothing. Nothing at all except become yourself. Your transformation is being worked invisibly on the inside, and when the time is right, you will share it with the world. In a situation where you seem to have no control, no power, you are learning the most valuable form of power there is, self-mastery. You're paused with dignity and strength, and simply by doing this, you create the right conditions for the right change. This time will ultimately bring great peace, wisdom, and choices that enrich your life, others' lives, and the healing of the world. And now we'll go to 35. With the Life Bringer, establishment, growth, and fulfillment. About you, now ideas and projects are gestating. Constellations of ideas are birthing. Your creativity is flowing from within, and ideas are developing in an easy, organic flow. For a time, you will be rich in health and love and in physical beauty. While there is much that is new about you, what has already been developed within your world can now be brought to greater fulfillment. So children may begin to mature and grow, and your ambitions and your dreams may need support to move from their beginnings to become truly established and make their presence strong and unshakable. Your accomplishments will now be acknowledged, respect will be given as it is overdue, and your contributions and your work will now receive the value and recognition they deserve. This could also mean you are able to ask for more money in exchange for your services and seek investment to develop your business. Your influence, power, and reputation are all growing in healthy, inspiring ways. You feel good in yourself. A loving relationship with your body now develops, and you accept and receive loving support from others. No more will you receive disrespect. Unkind words about yourself or your ventures will no longer be tolerated. You are growing in stature. Finally, the world sees you for who you are, a successful being who has followed their dreams. Yeah, and we've been talking too about how there may be some insecurities you're experiencing about your worth and your value. And it looks like this time of stillness is really giving you the ability to realize, like, no, like, I'm not going to let people waste my time. Like, I'm not going to lower myself. I'm going to accept my value, and I'm going to accept my worth and wait for something that is right for me. So now we're going to use some astro dice to figure out the circumstances around you meeting your partner. And like I told the first group, with this being a general reading, this may not apply to everybody, but it's just kind of a fun idea to me. And it helps me learn like how astrology associates with itself a little bit better. So, sorry, that was loud. Ooh, so we have Mars, we have the 4th house, and we have Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio is all about undergoing a change, right? And Mars is about taking action. 4th house is about home and family. So I think that there will be somebody who comes into your life who does very much express their interest in you. Now, if obviously if we're talking about let's be friends, or let's be business partners. This can also relate to that, but especially like in romantic relationships, because those can kind of be more intimidating, I feel like. It requires a certain level of vulnerability that can be very difficult for people. But I think that there is going to be somebody who is going to be very vulnerable with you and be very direct. With this being Scorpio, and Scorpio kind of being about obsession too, you might meet this person doing something that really speaks to you, something that you're very passionate about. And then we're going to get some charms and little pieces of paper just to see if there's any more to this story. Oh, so we have August. So August could be a significant time for you. Let's see. We have Aries. So Aries could be significant Aries season, and it says courageous. We have Cancer, which is imaginative. So let's see. Cancer is what? June, July, I think. Aries is, oh my God. I don't remember when Aries is, guys. Okay, because Capricorn. Wait, okay. Sorry, this is just taking me a moment. So it's like, okay, because it'll be Sagittarius, Leo, Virgo, Aquarius. Yeah, I don't know. Is it February? March? I spent way too long on that. But Aries season could be significant. Leo, since we're in August, Leo or Virgo could be significant as well. We have the owl. We have the manta ray. And then we have a flower. With the first pile, I kind of felt like the charms were more direct. This, not quite as direct for me. There could be something about wildlife here because we have the rose and we have two animal. Well, I mean, I guess really all of these are animals if you're looking at it like that. The owl talks about wisdom and about clarity. Cancers are people who tend to be very protective. Aries typically have a plan. They're very much, they're daddy energy. Kind of no nonsense too. But what's more important than me being able to understand a story from all of this is if any of these things have meaning to you or come to have meaning to you. So for some of you, these charms in August might just be kind of a confirmation for you. So group number 2, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please let me know how you resonated with it in the description box down below. If you haven't subscribed already but would like to be a part of our family, just hit that subscription button. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share if you could. I'll see you in your next one. Bye. All right, group number 3. If you chose the croc, why? Just kidding. This is going to be your reading about have you met your future partner yet, your next partner. As I've told the previous 2 groups, partner is intended in a like romantic or sexual context, but is not limited to either of those. This can also talk about like friend, family, mentor, business partner, what have you. So I'm going to try to put it into different contexts as I speak about them, but also don't be afraid to put it in the frame of mind that best works for you. So we're gonna put that bad boy right there. Is that sport mode? I think it's in sport mode. I don't know. I don't own a pair of Crocs at all. I have refused to own them. I did go when I was with a friend at the Mall of America a couple of years ago, I think. We did visit like the Croc store, and I did find that I thought like the ballet flat kind of style Crocs were kind of cute, but I'm just stubborn. I will choose to hate something until the day that I die. It's probably because I'm a Virgo. Who knows? Anyway. We're going to get started. So, have you met your next partner? The 10 of Scrolls, which is the 10 of Swords. Oops. I don't know why I did that. The 8 of Stones in reverse. Have you, let's see, the Celtic Owl, which is also the Hanged Man in reverse. Group 3, have they met their next partner yet? The Lovers. Okay. Yeah. And the 9 of Mirrors. And we have the 6 of Spirals in reverse with the Dreamer, which is the Knight of Mirrors. This is the only group that I can say I feel is a definite yes. Group 1 was an absolute no. Group 2 was kind of divided. Some it was, no, you haven't met them at all. Others it was, you haven't officially met them, but you've been in like the same sphere as them. I do feel for this group, though, that you have met your future partner. And this is somebody that I think you're aware of them. We do have the Ten of Scrolls here, which talks about like a lot of stress, overthinking, and the Lovers here can talk about destiny. And it really is about two people who cross paths, fall in love, and then eventually the Fool has to make the decision like, do I stay with this person, meaning that I have to leave behind my dream of enlightenment, or do I leave this person behind and continue my journey because they don't want to come with? And so to me that kind of signifies that like you are aware of who this person is. Like this is somebody I do believe that you look at them and you're just kind of like, is this them? Would we work? Is there a viable relationship here? Should I give it a chance? Would they give it a chance? The Nine of Mirrors, which is the Nine of Cups, to me indicates that there are feelings that you have about this. With the Hanged Man in reverse and the Eight of Stones in reverse, what this indicates to me is that this is probably a person that you're not entirely sure about, just as we've previously discussed. Like this is somebody that I think like you haven't quite made up your mind. You don't know how you feel about it. There is potentially an interest there for you, but you're not entirely convinced that it's the right connection for you. And that's what I'm getting here. You know, if it's like a friendship or whatever, it's like, well, yeah, they seem kind of like they seem okay, but I'm not sure that we have enough in common. If it's like a business partnership or whatnot, it could be like, I'm not sure if we want to go in the same direction or if they're qualified enough. You know, there's definitely, I think, a rational perspective you have where you're like, yeah, I could see this being something good, but you're just not certain about the other aspects. And so now we're going to get some, what is it? Some oracle cards, just to get some more messages. This could be advice. This could be some clues, but we're gonna check it out. Okay, great. Okay. I now create a wonderful new job. I am totally open and receptive to a wonderful new position, using my creative talents and abilities, working for and with people I love in a wonderful location and earning, good money. Well, that's an interesting way to look at it. For those of you who are exploring different career avenues, it could be talking about like definitely expanding yourself, expanding your creativity, expanding your connections. And it could mean that it's while you're focused on your career that you could meet your next partner. But also just encouraging you to trust that like the connection itself is going to be prosperous. You know, if you're too focused looking at the ways in which it might not work, you're not really noticing the ways in which it will, you know? All right, what else can you tell us about Group 2's future? A lot. Okay. We have card number 13 with success in transformation, and that's in reverse. With card number 5, move beyond intention to belief. And card number 3, you the muse. This is really just telling me that there's a lot of negative thinking that's focused on here. And it's kind of, but it's kind of cute. You know, that's why I'm laughing. It's kind of like feeling this energy of like, well, I just don't think it's going to work. Nope. I don't know. I don't know if people want to bother with this. I don't know if it's worth my time. It's kind of giving me that energy of methinks the lady doth protest too much, meaning that you may have a stronger desire to connect with this person or allow this connection to develop than what you're allowing yourself to believe. And so you may be kind of like finding all the flaws that could exist so that you can kind of temper your expectations or your desires. I don't know if maybe you have just been in a lot of like disappointing or toxic situations, or, you know, maybe you were just really focused on something else in your life. Like I remember when one of my past coworkers took me out to eat, and like I knew he was flirting with me and stuff. We were in the parking lot of like, what was it? Dairy Queen, and I had a really good time, but I was also nervous, and I just remember telling him like, I can't afford to get distracted right now. Like I've worked so hard on myself. Or maybe you're just like, I have a friend who was really kind of hesitant to get in a relationship because she was like, I can't have somebody move into my house and then try to change things. You know, like she liked being in control of her environment, and she was worried about having to share that control with somebody, you know? So I do think there's some sort of apprehension like that. Now we're going to use a Harry Potter deck that I have. Just note here that I am not a J.K. Rowling supporter. I'm very disappointed and disgusted with her, but I've had this deck for a while and I haven't used it in a long time. I just kind of felt called to use it. And I always try to make this disclaimer when I have used it in the past. Ooh. Battling our fears. What did I talk about? So it says, in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Professor Remus Lupin forms a special bond with Harry as he helps him learn how to fight Dementors. But Professor Lupin also has a secret. He's a werewolf, a condition that has taken a great toll on his life as he has no control over his actions when he is in his werewolf form. Professor Lupin's struggle with this aspect of his identity shows itself most notably in his decision to leave Hogwarts at the end of the school year. Despite being a skilled and excellent teacher, he is too afraid to unintentionally hurting someone to remain at the school. Do you have your own personal werewolf that you struggle with? Do you feel that your attitude toward it is justified, or like Professor Lupin, could you be letting fear hold you back from living your full life? And maybe that fear is like when I was talking about how I just can't get distracted. Maybe you're worried about like, I don't want to become codependent again. I don't want to lose myself in love again. And that's a totally fair concern. As I'm sure any potential other concerns would be. But sometimes our concerns have too tight a hold on us, you know, and they really rob us of enriching opportunities. And then the final oracle card we're going to get is from a fairy deck. And this one is it just one? Number 23, Freyr, abundance, peace, and contentment. I really feel like this is something that is promised to you. You know, you don't have to worry about it. Like, this is a path that is a part of your story. Let's see what the card actually says. So, your integrity has led to healing and unity, which gives you vast potential. And this surge of energy brings with it the ability to prosper, a continual flow of energy to be invested. Being at one with who you are destined to be can also lead to the power to create good fortune for yourself. This abundance, which will come lovingly and safely, can result in a time where you take your place in the world. You are now at home with your sensitivity, your psychic abilities, and you are able to help the world simply through being yourself, who you are at your core, and using your beautiful, innate, intuitive talents. You are in tune with this new earth energy. We all have this capacity, regardless of age, religion, race, creed, family background, and our issues. Every human has the chance to change into a person with a higher purpose. When we live from that place, we are truly peaceful, content, and abundant. We are like children coming home when we move into this energy and embrace this planet. For the planet, in her turn, embraces us and showers us with gifts. You are one of the leaders of this change, one who shows the way from the light they share each day in simple ways. You are a wonderful person with a divine mission. You are important to the planet. You are moving into a time of physical health, joy, enthusiasm, and the wonderful energy of optimism. Strong and joyful, others will embrace the examples you offer at this time. So, first and foremost, you know, the universe is acknowledging that, yes, you've come a long way and you have built your success from the ground up. And likewise, what that means is that has attracted or is attracting somebody who is successful in their own right. And I think as somebody who is a solid foundation for you, somebody who wants to support you, somebody who is going to have good ideas, somebody who isn't going to bring you down, somebody who isn't going to leech off of your success or your happiness or your pursuits, somebody who I think can and will make a name for themselves in their own way. So it's kind of like a divine counterpart, you know, and somebody that really, like, somebody gonna match your freak. They do match your freak. Yeah, I think this person, whoever they may be, is really on your level. So now we're just gonna use the Astro Dice because I had a fun idea last night about using them for questions, and it's allowing me to experiment with astrology and how to connect it. So this won't apply for everybody, but we're gonna use the Astro Dice to figure out, like, okay, let's see, because this question really doesn't apply for this pile. You know what? We'll say what connects you and this person together. Sorry. So we have 9th house, Virgo, and Uranus. Okay. So Virgo is the servant. It's the maiden. Virgos are an earth sign. They really like helping others, but they can also be very judgmental, very strict, very inflexible. Yeah, but observant. And the 9th house is about like philosophy, education, travel. And then Uranus is about rebellion. And that's funny that we have Uranus with Virgo. Definitely a sign that is not typically rebellious. So I would say that what connects the two of you together is the ability to look at situations abstractly. Because like we said, education, travel, philosophy, and then rebellion. And then we have, you know, a sign that really does rely a lot on like rules. This could also be about health too. Virgo rules like the digestive system, and maybe, is it the nervous system too? I don't know. So the both of you may have like a love for traveling. You may be able to develop like abstract concepts, alternative methods, alternative ways of thinking. You may both have a very strong distaste for authority. So there is something very unique about the both of you that connects the two of you together and makes you compatible. So now we're just gonna get like a little bit of extra from the universe, or a lot. Okay. Haiti. Snow globe. 1, 2, 3, 4. April. 2, 2, 2. And then a crown. I will say this feels like a confirmation about a divine counterpart because we have a crown here and then a crown on the Fairy King. Repeating numbers, particularly 2, 2, 2, could be very symbolic. 1, 2, 3, 4. I keep getting like a safe code in my mind, but the intention of this is really about sequential numbers. Sequential numbers could be confirmation for you. Haiti, snow globe, and April. Haiti and snow globe definitely makes me think of contradiction. Thinking outside the box. I feel like maybe there's a trip, whether it's like a vacation or for work or for school, that takes you to a completely different environment. Or maybe there's multiple trips. And it's like you go from a hot place to a cold place. Or it's from a cold place to a hot place. And that can be kind of confusing to people because they think like, oh, why are you going to two places so in such a relatively short period of time that are so vastly opposite? Like, what? Especially somewhere cold? April could be a significant month. It could be when somebody was born, when you guys met, or when you make a decision about this involvement. As far as Haiti, snow globe, could be two people from different ethnicities. Yes, that's what I'm getting. So group number 3, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you resonated with it, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you would like to be a part of our family but have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.